Welcome to the Shift Stirrers. Before we dive in, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands where we record. Michelle and Rosemary work on the lands of the Bunwurrung and Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. As we talk about transitions and shifts in our own lives, we recognise that First Nations people have been adapting, surviving and thriving on this continent for over 65,000 years. The world's longest continuing culture. Sovereignty was never ceded, always was, always will be.
Hello, Cath. How have you stirred the shift lately?
How have I? I'm embarking on something a little bit different this year. I am attempting to do some gem setting, which is a whole new technique for me. I'm going to work with predominantly natural sapphires and incorporating those into some of my designs. So starting with flush setting, which is a very particular technique, but that's kind of, in my wheelhouse. So I'm persisting for now, but it's very, you have to be very accurate and very precise, I think is the right word. So I'm enjoying the learning process some days, other days not so much.
Wow.
But that's a new thing for this year.
So it's a high learning curve shift stirring event.
It is a high learning curve and a lot of swearing. And a lot of holding my breath when I'm trying to actually set it.
You can use shift a couple of times in that.
Lots of shifting.
Okay, Rosemary. So why do we stir the shift? Do you want me to tell you why we stir the shift?
Yes.
Okay.
Remind me.
What shift stirrer is have you ever wanted to change your life? If you're thinking about starting a career and following your passion in the artisan's world, we're the people for you. It's not about us. What we're doing is interviewing people who have made transitions and listening to their stories and journeys. And we're hoping that sparks something in you. So let's get curious about what's possible.
I'm Rosemary Patterson.
And I'm Michelle Benson.
And we are the Shift Stirrers.
Welcome. Cath is the owner and maker of Bent Wires. Her work utilises wire work and traditional silversmithing techniques to make a complementary and unique jewellery piece. She is a stall holder at the iconic Melbourne Rose Street Artist Market in Fitzroy. Cath, welcome. It's so lovely to have you.
Thank you.
So, introducing Cath. Welcome, Cath, and I have met you at the Rose Street Market and I'm following you on Insta, which is such a joy. Let's start with you describing your...
So I make more of a contemporary style silver jewellery mostly. I do work a little bit with gold filled as well. I make pendants, rings, chains, bracelets, anything I can think of that catches my fancy. I will try to do something with that.
And there's some beautiful photos on your website. You're a good photographer as well.
I do my best.
And you came from research science. Did you want to talk about the field of science you came from?
It's a potted history. I started out as an immunologist. I did my PhD in my early 20s and worked in research science, laboratory science for a number of years. I moved more into the education field. I'm a little bit of consultancy, so all sorts of varied things, some teaching in there somewhere. So it's a bit of a varied background, but yeah, very different to the creative field in the arts.
Awesome. And so when did you first discover jewellery?
I've always had a love affair with silver. Even before I even looked at doing anything in the jewellery field, I've always I don't know why, it's just something that's always attracted me. So I'm one of the lockdown stories. So during COVID, when we had way too much time on our hands, I started some wire working just for the hell of it. Something I'd always wanted to try. I've always been a crafter, so I've always been a knitter, crocheter, something like that. All sorts of varied things over the years. And then I started playing with it, and then all of a sudden I had like 30 pairs of earrings that I had no idea what to do with. And it kind of blossomed from there and moved into silversmithing a little bit further down the track.
And those earrings that you're wearing, are they yours?
They are mine, yes.
Yeah, they're just moving your interesting sort of patchwork of wonderful skills and then across to full-time jewellery. Was it a slow or...
It was gradual, and I think that was a good thing for me.
Yep.
Everybody's journey will be quite different, I imagine, but it was with some trepidation to leave a career behind. It's not the first time. The problem I have with science is, while I'm quite good at it, I didn't love it and never have. I enjoy elements of it, but not so much others. And it wasn't very fulfilling for me. So I'd always entertain myself with other creative pursuits. I've done playwriting and writing and other sort of theatre. So I've always done something to keep my soul active, if that makes sense to everybody.
Yes. Did your soul?
Yes, to offset the somewhat dry side that science can take over, that whole right side of the brain thing. So I had decided to make a move away, but it was time to leave again, and I needed to do something that was just for me. So this was purely an exploration of something I wanted to try and see what happened. And I'm fortunate enough that I have a partner that supports me in that, and just thought I'd give it a go. I've run other businesses before, so that it's interesting because all of the things that I've done throughout my life all sort of fed into this one point. It's just a culmination of things that were useful. Had I not done those previously, I probably wouldn't have made that transition as comfortably, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
And
beautiful.
We'll be hearing more about your journey. Michelle's going to move on to that.
Before I do, I'm just going to say, because I felt this when I actually started working in porcelain, and for me, it was love at first touch. Was it the same when you started working with the silver? Did you just feel that this was where your art was?
Much more so when I went into smithing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the wire work, but I found it a bit limiting, and I didn't want to. Like, there are some amazing artisans that can do some unbelievable things with wire work, and that's not the level of skill that I wanted to go down. And then when I went into silversmithing, I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. This is
Quick question first, which is, what is the difference between the two things you just talked about?
between wire work and silversmithing.
Yeah.
Wire working is usually using single lengths of wire, very long, and you sort of use almost weaving techniques. And you can do some really intricate, amazing things, but there is a limitation that you can't join it, or sometimes the way that you join it together can be limiting in what you might want to do, particularly if you're looking at more sculptural or three-dimensional work. Whereas if you learn to solder, which is its own journey, it opens more doors, I think, in the sorts of things that I wanted to make. It very much depends on what you want to do. They're quite different destinations.
Yeah. So the wire is not silver.
The wire is silver. Yeah.
Okay.
I did start working in copper because I didn't want to spend money on things that I was still learning with, but moved into precious metal, yeah.
I think the earrings that I have and the brooch that I have from you are wire work. Is that
They
correct?
are. They are my
Yeah,
first,
they are
more
beautiful.
similar to where I started, yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you, how did you identify the shift as you moved from research? Did you suffer from imposter syndrome when you actually shifted?
All the time, and still do. I think that's something that artisans in particular struggle with. It's quite common when I talk to other market folk. It feels very exposed sometimes when you put your work out there because you've put so much of yourself into it usually. Being mostly self-taught, I think that comes into it as well. So you're like, well, I think I'm doing the right thing, but you don't really have other people to reinforce that for you. So you have to just believe that you've done it well.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a bit hard in mouth when you first start putting things out there and go, oh, I really hope this is sturdy. I really hope this holds up and it's not going to break on people. But as you sort of get more confident and just, it's a time thing. You just learn to trust your own ability over time. And that's a journey you just have to take. There's no shortcuts for that one. You get there eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you think that your skills as a scientist actually helped you with your launching of your business? I mean, we've talked about this offline previously but I'd love you to go into that now about that, how the analytical mindset has actually encouraged you to run your business well.
I think there are definitely elements of it that help. Knowing how to research is a fundamental skill all people should have, regardless of where they come from. You need to be able to critically evaluate. So I'm used to reviewing my own work, even if it's written work, like in the science field, or reviewing that I've done techniques or procedures well. So a lot of science is very procedural, as is a lot of silversmithing, very procedural. Like you have to do the technique and you have to do it a certain way or it doesn't work. Problem solving side of it that really helps. I think that ability to look at and go, well, that didn't go the way it was supposed to go. Why did that not happen? What could possibly have gone wrong? Was the silver overheated or underheated? Did I not use enough flux? Did it not have the join perfect? Like that. So there's that side really helps. And I won't say perfectionist, but I'm particular, let's say. And that's held me in good stead through my science career, but also some elements of jewelry making can be very demanding in terms of precision and accuracy. And that's not something I'm unfamiliar with coming from a science background. So those are the sorts of translatable skills, if that makes sense. Yeah.
And again, I keep going off script here. I'm sorry, Cath. When you're designing a new piece, do you approach it like a hypothesis? That's just that, and this is like off the top of my head because if I do this, will this occur? Do you approach it like that?
Absolutely not. My process is so completely
I'm so glad you said that.
It's more the science and the analytics come in procedural work. The creative design is a totally different part of my brain. And my house, I'm actually looking at some now. I've got some envelopes with scribbles all over it. I sketch all day long. Like every time I see a shape or a form or something, it will trigger something. And I'll often do it when I'm at the market on my phone. I'll just sketch an idea that's come to me. So it's very much an organic process for me. I was like that when I used to write creatively as well, when I did playwriting and things like that, and even prose. I start working on something, that didn't come out right. I start working on something sometimes, and it looks a little bit different to what I expected, and then I'll go with that. And then it becomes not what I intended, but kind of where I wanted to start. And then I end up with a finished product that I'm happy with. So it's very much an organic process for me. Some people don't do it that way. A lot of people are very precise. They draw out their very technical drawings and sketches, particularly fine jewelers, which is part of, that's a necessity. But that's not how I tend to work. I tend to just go with the flow a lot.
So was that a steep learning curve for you, to actually build up your skill set and be comfortable with it?
Very much. And I'm very much at the start. So I've been going almost 4 years now. And I feel like now I have an idea of what I'm doing, but I have so much more that I would like to learn. I'm very much at the basic level still as far as how I see myself.
Yeah. And this is my last question, and then I'll hand over to Rosemary. How have you developed, your particular style or your voice in your jewelry? Because it definitely, I look at your work and there's a definite voice there. Is that, what's helped you develop that voice?
It's certainly not deliberate. Like I haven't intentionally set out to create a particular style. Some people do, the way they make things. They want to make something that's more, deco or nouveau or whatever it might be. I just make what appeals to me. It's very self-indulgent. It's very much an expression of myself, I think. So my work is quite organic lines and movement and flow. It's all about that. It looks quite simple in some ways, but it's quite funny when you're making a piece and it might just be that you move it 1/4 millimeter or something and it has a totally different feel to it, a totally different, you work in sculptural work, Michelle, so you understand what I mean. Like it's just got to have that particular feel and flow to the way that the line forms, and that's pretty much what I do. Guess that's why I work the way I do as well. It's just all about how it feels.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Rosemary, your turn.
Yes, and for our listeners that are working quietly at home on their craft and just going with the flow and working organically, I think that's a nice takeaway from you that works for people.
Yeah.
Now we're on to the practical wisdom, boring part. The business side.
Yeah.
I'd love to know any important business lessons that you might pass on.
Oh, that's a very big question. I could do a whole podcast on that. There's a lot to know. And this is from somebody, I've run businesses as a sole trader before. So I have run service-based businesses, an editing business, massage therapy business, and working as an independent lecturer and consultant. So I understand that side of it, but products is a whole different field. So doing a product-based business was quite a steep learning curve for me, even with a little bit of knowledge on how a whole sole trader thing works. So there's a lot to learn. And my number one thing, I'm probably going to say this a few times, is research everything.
Right.
Before you start, if you are embarking, whatever it might be, do your homework before you start just packing your table into the back of your car and rocking up at a market. You really do need to understand the boring but important things like insurance and public liability and product liability. Particularly for me, I have to cover the fact that my products may or may, somebody might swallow an earring back or something. I don't know. It sounds far-fetched, but these things are important. And under the law, I am considered a manufacturer. So I have to comply with that legislation and also consumer law. So you do need to know what you're doing before you start selling as a business. Yeah.
Right. And so
that sounded very serious, but I'm not trying to put people off, but you just don't want to find yourself in a situation you weren't expecting.
It's like anything, be prepared, isn't it? Do your research.
Absolutely.
If you're going to stand up and teach a class, you do your research and know what you're teaching.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So I love your Instagram. I actually don't know what those little things are at the top, but you've got different little sections. And can you talk about your approach to social media? I'm following you on Insta.
Thank you. I have a love-hate relationship with socials.
I think we
started
all
out
do.
before I started to do markets, and I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the experience. You feel like you're operating in a void. That's another thing I would suggest to people if you are starting out. Even if you want to do online, purely online, you still need to do a few markets, get out there amongst the people, because you've got no idea otherwise if you're not selling your products because people don't like them or they don't think they're good enough or it doesn't appeal to people. You've got no idea how to find your audience if you don't know who your audience is. So there's a little bit of marketing jargon there, but you do need to know who you're selling to.
Yes.
Otherwise, you've got no idea what to make.
Yeah.
So if you want to do this as a business, if you just want to make things for your own personal fulfillment, that's great. Do that. And you can sell that. That's fine. But if you want to make it as a functional business, you need to be more aware of those sorts of things. So that's what socials is for me. It's a way, I'm not a person that wants 5,000 or 500,000 followers on Insta. It's a way for me to put my work out there so people can see what I do. So I see it more as like a digital business card. Same with my website. It's not really, I'm not intending that to be a sales channel. The market is where I get the majority of my income from. I do sell online, but you need to know what you're using your socials for, and that will be different depending on what you're doing. So if you're selling online, that's a very different interaction with your socials than if you're just showing the world what you do. So that's my personal view. And you need to know who it is that you're talking to, and you need to work out whether or not you're trying to attract traffic or whether you're trying to talk to people who are already following you.
Wow, that's fantastic.
It's about
look at my Insta.
and for me, it should be about the people who already like you. Repeat custom's a wonderful thing. And find that you will develop a quite loyal customer base who will come back to you when they want something new, or maybe there's a birthday or something else going on in their personal life. So those things are important. Give a way for people to talk to you, to reach out to you, to connect with you.
Yes. And I really liked on one day you had this piece will be at Rose Street Market.
Yeah.
Blah day. Yeah. Nice and clear.
It's a good way to let people know when you're doing something new. It's a good way to just keep your product in front of people from a purely marketing perspective. There's a sort of rule of thumb that suggests that people need to see your product at least 5 times before they buy it.
Yeah.
So it's about keeping you front of mind for them as well, because particularly with jewellery, it's a super saturated market, very hard to stand out. So when you do find the people who like what you do, and it won't be everyone, and that's okay, you need to look after them.
Great. And can you talk about pricing? Because pricing is so tricky, as you would know.
Yeah.
You don't want to undersell, and you've got that beautiful work that you've got up in the morning and drawn a sketch of that you've thought about through the day, and somehow it's ended up beautiful and a photo on the website. And how do you even start?
That's one of the big learning curves. For me, I have a formula. So all of my pieces then become consistent as well. I think that's also important. It's based on silver price. So I'm not even going to open that jar of words at the moment because it's giving us all heart palpitations because it's tripled since October.
Wow.
So It's close to triple since in the last sort of 3 or 4 months. So it's going crazy at the moment. You do have to be realistic. If that means that your base cost is going too high, you may have to modify your work if you can't afford to buy the materials in. So it all depends on what you're working with. It's different for those of us that work with precious metals, because that's the base cost becomes quite prohibitive. All
But I
depends on
hear
what
it
you
even in brass and copper are going up at the moment. So
everything's following gold. So
Yeah.
I did have intentions at one point to perhaps do some gold work, but it's price prohibitive for me at the moment. So even silver is getting really hard work. But in terms of how you price it, going back to the original question, I calculate my base cost, which is, and I don't mind sharing this formula. So the silver price by weight, I use a way to calculate my time, because you can never put all the hours that you spend on a piece in one other, everything would be $500. So it's a little bit of allowance for time, and then a retail factor, which covers then your business operating costs to a degree.
Amazing.
That's how I work it out. Everybody's got a different way.
Yeah, and I guess it might be a bit simpler for you having a formula. Would that be true?
I find it useful, because otherwise what you're doing is sort of looking and going, I reckon that's about, I don't know. And you also have to be aware of what people will pay. This is why the market research and attending a market and so on. It's when what people don't buy is just as important to know as what people do buy. We're in a cost of living crisis. We need to be aware of that. It's a lot of my work is not an impulse purchase, because it's too expensive for that. You need to be aware what's going to sell, how fast it's going to sell, and you learn that from just interacting with people at a market store.
Great. Yeah, that's great takeaways. So I'll just finish, Michelle, with this commission question. Such a beautiful thing to be asked to create something that's especially for one person or a group.
I had something special.
I'm thinking bridal parties and all sorts of things. Anyway, point is, what's my question? How do you manage?
Yeah.
If it's someone else's idea, talk us through.
I only do commissions on something that's my work. I will do, most of the commission work I do is people have seen something that they like and they want that specifically to fit them. So I'll make a ring that's custom fit. Occasionally people will come to me with an idea. So I did have a customer last year that wanted, I do these little sleeper charms, and she wanted a range of those that were specific for her. So I came up with some ideas and did that for her. So that's more unusual for me. I tend to do commissions just of my own work, and similar to the pieces that I made for Michelle. So she saw something that she liked and she wanted them turned into earrings, and I made those for her. And she's got a good eye because they turned out beautifully.
Great. She might be an artist.
It's hard when people come to you saying, I've seen this thing, will you make it? Because I don't do that. And I don't think that's an appropriate approach. I do my work. I don't do other artists' work. So I as politely as possible tell people that I don't work that way.
Yeah.
But I will work with someone to design something, but that's not common for me.
Right. Yeah. And I love that respect for other artists' work as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy to work something in my style. If you like something that I've done and you want me to design a ring for you, I can do that.
Yeah.
But it has to be, and it's also something that then I know how to do.
Yes.
So sometimes people go, can you do this? I'm like, no, I really can't, because I don't have those skills.
Yeah. And it has to be in your voice.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's where I'm going with that. Yeah.
Michelle, building the business.
Okay, I just want to say I've learnt so much in that section.
Yeah.
I do price the same way as you. I know I weigh the clay.
Yeah.
And I price based on, and even that porcelain's going up at the moment.
Yeah.
So,
Everything has a cost, and you've got to build that in. You've got to pay yourself.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So when did it start feeling like it was like Bentwise was a real business? And this goes back to that transition, because I know for a couple of years you worked in both roles to build the business up to a stage where you could say, yep, I have a business here.
I did. It was a fairly short period. So I was I put my feet in the water for a little bit, and then tried a bit online, and that didn't go so well. And then I started doing markets and enjoyed them much more than I expected to. Sorry, I've gone off track and completely forgot what you just asked me. How long did it take before it felt like a business? Probably a good couple of years before I could hand on heart say, I feel like this is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the amount of money that you make. It's more that the whole thing fits together. I can't describe that very well. You feel confident in your technical skill. You feel like you've got a handle on what the business side of it looks like. You know where you want to go with it. You have a rough business plan idea in your head, which probably should be written down, but probably isn't. Yeah, that sort of thing. So it takes a while to be comfortable in your own skin with it, and that self-belief that, yeah, I really can do this. And this is not just me being self-indulgent with a hobby.
What a great feeling.
It is a hard journey to get to that point where you know, right, this is now a business that I'm running. And if I ask you what success looks like in that, I view success as a long-term thing, not a short-term thing.
Yeah.
So what does success look like to you in your business?
It's an interesting question. I have a different perspective on success, and I think that's probably how I interpret the word. I think success is a myth. I don't believe in that you journey to something and you achieve something like it's a goal, like it's a reward.
Yeah.
It's not what it's like for me anyway. Success is doing what you love and being happy in it and being fulfilled. And if you can make a living out of it at the same time, good luck to you, you know.
Yeah.
That's what success is for me. I've had a career I was very successful at, if you want to look at it that way. If you want to put a label on it and say, yes, I was a senior lecturer and I was a researcher and I published papers and I do all that thing. I didn't make me feel successful though, because I didn't love it. I didn't like it.
Wow.
It gave me no personal satisfaction and no personal gratification. So that to me was not a successful career, even though others would argue differently. So it looks nice on a piece of paper and on a CV, but it didn't really mean much for me.
Yeah.
I feel much more successful doing what I'm doing now because it's something that I've built myself and I've built it for myself. So that's incredibly satisfying.
Right, Cath, that's beautiful. I actually really love that. And in fact,
I love it.
that's one, I think we should use that for the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, the joy rather than success. Yeah. So
It all depends on how you measure success. So that, yeah.
Yeah.
I've
no.
never been materialistic or money driven. So it's not about that for me. As long as I can feed myself and my family, that's, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been in you spend, 40 and in science often 80 hours a week. And if you hate it, it's a lot of your life that you're spending very unhappy.
Yes.
It is, I know. So I'm going to, because we have covered a lot of answers in what we've done. So I'm just going to ask you about community.
Sure.
I've worked in the Rose Street Market and the community there is fantastic and I love it. And I think I work across the group of Rose Street Markets and I find those communities are still there. But there's something powerful about the Rose Street Market and the community.
Yeah.
Do you want to just talk a little bit about that? It's
always about the people. It's always the people. They're a fantastic group of individuals, artists, creatives who just get it. They get what life's about. They understand that group success results in individual success. It's never competitive. It's always embracing. It's rare to find. I think also the fact that it's a family market. It's established, with Christian and Adam and their brothers, and that family feel is something that they're very passionate about, and that shows in the people that make up the Rose Street Market. Yeah, it's a great place to work.
Yeah. One of the things I've learnt too is it's about trust. If Adam and Christian say they will do something, they actually do it.
Always.
And it's that trust. And I think it's in all the other people within the market, all the other artisans there. They feel that trust too. So I think it's just a wonderful place, and it's
a shared experience thing too. Like some market days, when you're in miserable weather and nobody turns up because it's like -5 degrees or something. It's a bit of shared trauma, but a bit of trauma bonding. But it is that definitely that feeling though that we're all in it together. It's and sometimes people have good days, sometimes people have bad days, and everybody's there for each other, whichever way it goes.
Yeah. And I even everybody says goodbye to each other at the end. Bye. See you next week.
Yeah. We spend a lot of time together and on quieter times, it can get a bit rowdy. In a good way. It's fun, and it's a place where I think what I like about it the most, and what is very contrasting for me coming from a science background, very conservative background, and I'm not talking about politics here, I'm talking about that you can just be yourself. You just be who you are, whoever you are, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't
but
matter.
it's just like, for instance, there's people who have an ongoing Scrabble game throughout.
Yes.
And they'll have the Scrabble board behind one of the stalls, and then if they get busy, they go away and they're working, and then they come back and put their word in.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful.
It's been going on for a long time, that.
Yeah.
What it is. A little bit of rivalry there. Yeah.
But
it's great.
Yeah, but good rivalry.
Good rivalry.
Scrabble rivalry. Okay, I'm going to pass over to you, Rosemary.
Did you see our Adam interview,
I
Cath?
did, yes.
Yeah, it's great, wasn't it?
It was very
He's
good.
wonderful.
Very good. I'll finish up with not too much. What's one thing that you wish someone had told you?
That's a really interesting question. Don't overthink it. That's probably
Beautiful.
a special thing for me.
Okay.
Because I have a tendency, being a particular person as I am, but don't overthink it. If you can find a million reasons not to do it, and they're good reasons. They're good
Right.
reasons.
Yeah,
But don't overthink it. What's the worst that could happen?
that is great. Yeah.
You turn up to a market, you don't sell anything. The world doesn't end. No one dies.
Like that.
It's not a high risk thing. Just give it a go. You never know what's going to happen.
Oh, that's fantastic. Can you tell us about how our listeners can find you? Instagram?
Instagram's probably the best place. So it's just bent_wires. That's my Insta handle. And I've got my website link on there as well. That's probably where I'm most active in the digital
And,
world.
of course, Rose Street Market.
And every Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 4 at Rose Street Market, 60
And
Rose
it's a
Street.
great
Fitzroy.
market. Yeah. I love it because it's undercover. Well, sort of. Yeah.
It was. We survived our 37-degree day, so that was okay.
Great.
I'm thankful it's not today that we're out there.
Yes. So Michelle wrote these quirky questions that we write. We ask everyone if you could give your past self one superpower to make the transition easier, what would it be?
My immediate thought when I read that question was, of course, speed it up, be able to do things faster, because time is always your limiting factor and it's your most precious resource. But thinking about that a bit more, I would change that, because I think the speed at which you do things is the speed that you need to do things. You need to take each step. You can't just go to the end. It just doesn't work that way. You need to take away the lessons and the mistakes and the trial and error. It's a really important part, and don't do it faster than it needs to be. I think that's really important. You get really excited about new projects. I'm that person. I'm an all-in person. Once I've decided to do something, it's like, let's do it now.
Yeah.
But you really do have to take a step back. So my answer to that would be not to give my past self a superpower, but the power for my current self to be able to go back to my past self and say, it's okay, just do it.
Oh, I like
Yeah,
Time
that's
traveling.
great.
That would be my superpower, to tell my past self, just enjoy the ride.
Yes, and your past self came from project deadlines, grant due dates, and you would have gone, how can I? Yeah. So I love that. Go with the time that you need. And I love working for personal satisfaction is a feel for success for you. And I love that you work organically and that works for you. Michelle, are we done?
Yeah,
oh my God.
Cath, this has been beautiful. And I can't believe how quickly the time has gone.
I told you I talk a lot.
Oh, but no, you don't talk too much, trust me.
What did you do to talk?
It was just beautiful. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and
my
I've
pleasure.
learnt so much today. I have learnt so many things, which is, I like being next to you at the market because I learn things all the time.
You know how much I can talk, Michelle.
No, this has been wonderful. Okay,
Pleasure.
thank you very much.
All good. I will talk to you both soon.
Rosemary, out of all of that, what were your key learnings?
Yes, another wonderful interviewee. Thank you for finding her. So for me, I loved how anyone at any time can have the freedom to reframe what success is. And so whether it's not meeting your KPIs, not making a lot of money, and Cath's was quite broad on what she would define as her success. And you had some thoughts on that, I think.
I did, because It was the joy and fulfillment over traditional meaning of success. And I like the fact she said success is a myth.
Yeah, beautiful. Yep.
Because it is. She's right. Success comes from the heart, not from the amount of dollars you've got in your bank account. So, yeah. The richest people can be unhappy. I like do the research. I like the fact that, for me, that was a key learning. Do the research. Know exactly what you're getting into before you get into it. And we can all do that.
Yeah, I like that because I'm an ex-teacher, and if you front up to the group or the workshop and you've done all your research and prepared really well, you'll have a great workshop. Yeah.
Yeah. And last but not least for me was community, because I do think that it's about community, the community of people that you're working with, as Cath is in the Rose Street Market, community of artists that you're learning and teaching with. Community is so important in our lives. No man is an island.
Yeah, no woman is an island. The other thing that I loved was from her advice and wisdom to listeners was sort of a lot of stoicism is to think to yourself, what's the worst? So you might take your stuff to the market and not have a great day. What's it matter? I really like that wisdom. And I suppose for me, it's like I might put a book on Amazon and it's not getting a lot of sales, or it might. Yeah, so it was so good.
Yeah, it was. I'm looking forward to this one. I just say she's such a knowledgeable and wise woman. Yeah. Okay, what's inspiring you at the moment, Rosemary?
Well, I've got a little character that's popped up in my next book, and she's cheeky. She's going to teach adults a lot. She's kind of wise, but she's a bit bossy, and she's going to take her mum for a walk in nature. And I drew her in just pen, black and white, and I tried to draw her in colour, and I just couldn't get happy with what the final version of her might be. You're going to have a look through some of the versions and tell me which one you prefer.
Well, I like all four. I can't deny I like all four. And you've asked which colourway is the better. I can't tell you which colourway is the better. I like the fact that they are sort of themed autumn, spring, summer, winter. I like that. But I think the sardine in her hair is what gets me the most, because I just love that sardine. I want one. I want a sardine bow to put in my hair. So yes, find me one of those.
Awesome. Yes. I don't know where that sardine came from, but I love it. Now, Michelle, you're going to tell us your inspiration.
Well, can I have two, please? All right. The first one is something that Rosemary said to me today, everyone, and that is, it's okay to have a pause. And I really like that, because it's not just pause in conversation, it's pause in life, it's pause in what you're doing. It's taking time to actually make sure that you're comfortable in the space you're sitting in. And we hear that a lot, by the way, from our guests. They often say, it's okay to be a bit slower. It's okay to take that pause. Even in this interview, at the end, Cath says she'd like to be able to go back and she'd like to time travel back and say, hey, it's okay to go slowly on this bit. So, yeah, that for me has been inspiring, and it's something I need to do because I'm not good at taking pauses. And the second thing is a thank you to a friend of mine. A very dear friend of mine made me a kiln guardian for one of my kilns. Kilns are traditionally named, and they have little guardians that look after them. I have two kilns. I have one called Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle, and the other one is called Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. So both fire creatures. And so thank you, Juanita. I love my little kiln guardian. So that was mine.
Oh, that's gorgeous. That is gorgeous. Well, what a great session today.
It was great. Thank you so much for listening to Shift Stirrers podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that follow button so you can get notified whenever we release new content. We'd love to hear from you, and feel free to reach out to us at theshiftStirrers@gmail.com, or you can find our individual email addresses and websites in the show notes below. We love questions. You can also connect to us on Instagram shift stirrers. If you found value in today's conversation, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could leave us a review or a rating on your podcast platform. It really helps others to discover the show. And if you know someone who will benefit from this episode, please share with them. Until next time, keep stirring the shift. Just a quick disclaimer, Michelle and Rosemary are not experts in any of these discussions today. We present this podcast in the interest of getting you curious to make changes. Thank you.